Variable ratio of reinforcement. Isis the Sheltie is demoing a variable ratio of reinforcement. In the first clip, he does 5 behaviors before a treat, and in the second, he does 3 behaviors before a treat. When using a variable ratio of reinforcement, your dog should never know when they're going to get the treat. This is the key to having your dog do more behaviors for less reinforcement and remain enthusiastic about it. For a variable ratio of 5 behaviors, you would reinforce your dog randomly on an average of 5 behaviors. For example, reinforce after behavior number 4, then 2, then 6, then 1, then 5, then 3. Your dog should never know when the reinforcement is coming. You can even choose to reinforce in between behaviors. How to test whether a behavior is ready for a variable ratio of reinforcement. Ask for the behavior multiple times. If it's a behavior like spin and your dog's going to get dizzy, you don't have to ask for them back to back. If the behavior is fluent, or in other words strong, and your dog is offering it immediately every time you say the cue, then you can move on to using a variable ratio of reinforcement. At first, you would start asking for 1 sit before a treat, then 2 sits before a treat. So the behavior would be on an average of 2. And if your dog is having success, you could build it up to an average of 3, then 4, then 5. Once you've trained a handful of strong behaviors, you can ask for them randomly and use a variable ratio of reinforcement. If your dog is looking stressed, lethargic, or is making incorrect responses, simply lower the average of reinforcement that you're using. So if you're using an average of 5, you could lower it down to 3 until your dog is successful. If you notice it's just one behavior that's falling apart, go back and work on that behavior on a 1-to-1 ratio of reinforcement. That's 1 click and treat for 1 behavior.